Hey, what's going on, guys? This is me, Genetically Advanced AI, and allow me to introduce you into the world of Tiny Bunny. But the snow-covered thickets of the Siberian forest beckon a young boy, who and his sister are tormented by nightmares, making them go deep inside the forest, deep into the silhouettes. Now, this is an immersive interactive game in which your own actions, or rather my actions, are responsible for your own demise, or probably a session if you do it correctly. Now, this novel is divided into 5 parts, out of which the first one is available yet, and I'll be playing. So hold on to your seats tight, and let's begin. How? We are off to a great start. The wind clawed at my window all night long. But it wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneery, twined in the air. They were shouting and laughing and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves there was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was just my imagination. I was already 12 after all. Still. That looked like a face. Hey, put away your book. How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look at how slouched you are. Oh, so the mom is telling the boy, I guess. Yep. Okay. I hit the book. I didn't protest and put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. Okay. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Well, I would have probably searched on the internet, but I guess this is an old novel. Olio had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic, she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials. You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it. Dying, what a mom. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house, and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance began. It looked like a jellyfish from the Koutsu Odyssey. I love that show. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is, or how cold the black forest is at night. Well, at 12 I never really thought about this kind of shit. The spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showed me a cold glare from her green eyes. What did I just say? I'll get it. So the guy's name is Anton. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. What is this carved on the other side of the table? Karina. Oh, it's written here, Karina. Well, actually I can read Russian, so yeah. Ha! That's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal, damaging the furniture like that. Wow, that's not something good to call your mom. She'll scold me for a week if I did something similar though. Should I remind her about it? Nah, she's been in a bit of bad mood lately. I imagine her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was mom afraid of the dark back then? Or the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? She looks a bit scary, but okay. I imagine my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of the bed where Olia sleeps nowadays, and saying this in a soft, smooth voice. Taiga is a special place. Little girl is watching you closely, sniffing you out, trying to discern what kind of beast you are. If you are a good sort, it won't abandon you in times of trouble. But if you are a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you onto the ground. And that would be it. Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. But those words of grandma are really worrying me. Like really, they are scary. Those were the times without the maddening screams, until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening to one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket. And she called it her cute funeral box. It waited for its time in the closet patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive, only all of the photos were gone. Glass-colored pictures with grey faces of my ancestors. They all had a deep but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the table. Ollie was done with her cookies and was looking at my shell like a sly woodland critter. I turned my gaze towards the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of the frost formed a picture on the glass. Olia, look, it's a fox. Where? It almost looked like those optical illusion thingies they put on the back of student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little bit and look under a certain angle. Okay. Not outside, on the window. Look, here's the nose, and here is... Hey, eat up. Yes, just a moment. I didn't see anything. Hurry up, there's not much time left. Ah, there it is, but it still doesn't look like one. And I'm telling you it does. Nuh-uh. It does. Stop it, these kids, I swear. I couldn't see the fox either. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosted patterns, similar to stretched out nettle leaves, kept creeping on the glass. My dad entered the kitchen with long, measured steps. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. Mom would always ask jokingly, come on, shave it off, it stings. That's what I also get told. This is so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Olia always covers her ears whenever she hears something like, what's up in all this? Through the wall. It's for your sake, Dad would reply, for the sake of our family. I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with a D. D-I-V-O. I don't even want to finish it. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken into two different families. Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window. You and your owl talk again. You said you believed me just yesterday. Has anybody seen my car keys? I remember leaving them on the windowsill. Mom, right. Maybe you did, and maybe not. You're a grown man, a father of two, and still. Karina, please stop. Just let me get ready in peace. Your keys are in the basket, in the phone. Well, thank you very much. Anton, stop making a martyr out of yourself and finish eating already. And the owl. There was no owl. Well, that's rude, Dad. But there was one. It had giant, glowing eyes. Olia sprung from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers, the size of an apple each. Last year you had Babai on your closet, and now this owl? What's Babai? But I saw it. Olia shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me, but couldn't find any support. Have you thought about befriending it? You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice? That seems creepy. Don't bully our girl. She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's still little. Then why are you letting her sleep alone? Olia pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strict look. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just nodded in reply and left, ringing with the keys he was found. A minute had passed, and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on incredibly worn-out cassette tape, which Dad already had to glue together once. It is so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example. But how do you fix a relationship? Mom moved to the living room, and I was left alone, anxiously, stealing glances at the window. Honestly, what kind of 12-year boy thinks all of this? Maybe he has gone through a lot. God knows. Okay, oh, she seems scared. Olia had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn or curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped to take her mind off all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. Ah! Jeeves jump scares. Jeez, why do you keep jump scares? And then Olia said she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Olia refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After tonight, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of myself. Can nightmares be infectious? What happened tonight? Just last night I couldn't get a wink of sleep and ended up thinking of what to expect in my new school. There were a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long, twisting hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. But all the students behind the desks were simply dark figures, cut out using a template. I hear creaking boards. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and pairs of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat black silhouettes. Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down? Stomp me with their bloodied shoes? The damn school can burn off for all I care. I just wished for anything to happen to it. I really don't like those sounds. I'm not ready for another jump scare. Anyway, I just wished for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who were just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider or some kind of a monster. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the walls. Okay. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Olia begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy, as of late. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, as they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number," or "Anton is not around. Anton is not around." I imagine my future classmates lying in their beds just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all, but who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on this planet, my mom. That's true. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with the neighbor's drill, mumbled with the TV set from behind the walls, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closet, cobwebs, and under the stairs. But they all woke up during the night. Who were they? Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos of my deceased family with their ashen eyes were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaking, rusty drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. And then I realized I was in fact hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It was mixed with the sound of the wind, of the creaking old house, and my thoughts too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a product of my own imagination. It's not like someone's playing it there amidst the cold, snowy night, right? Do I really have to? Someone was dancing in the field. Okay. Black silhouettes I could barely make out with the dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in the moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around and crawled on all fours. That seems like normal wolves. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. They stood upright at times, circled around holding hands and whipping up the snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly the music had stopped. The dancing shadows froze in place, and I could swear pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. I'm getting the jeebies. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like the bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back towards bed. They saw me. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move and scrape around looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right, then circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. I jumped into the bed and covered myself with the blanket as if it could protect me. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remembered the funeral, my grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll. Ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. I imagined those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside the sockets and she'll be able to see her grandchildren. I was chanting the spell she taught me throughout the whole procedure, and now lying under the blanket and listening to squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words. On the island of Buyan, underneath the blemished sun, the sea of color blue, stands a cabin made of wood. There lay lard and ashen hair for the spawn from devil's lair, to feast and always come alone, God's faithful servant named Anton. Evil leaves this house must, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bizarre sounds had stopped. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hangman. And then the night doused me with a new potion of boiling terror. The sounds crashed at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone were scratching at the front door, hurriedly crawling at the wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently as if he was looking for someone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I held my knees, placed my chin between them, and drilled the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the might of the darkness. And then the doorknob twitched slightly. And it turned halfway, once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more and then started clicking violently. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked and opened. Please, no jump scares. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness writhed inside the carnivorous mouth of a doorway. Tony? Tony? It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling, ensnarled by the web of darkness that hung on the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. Tony? My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. But before I was able to do anything, darkness asked me, Tony, you asleep? My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. Oh. I almost screamed from relief. Olya? I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Olya frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry. It's there again, staring at me. Shoo her away, Tony, please. I'm so scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a moment ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Olya down. It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. Olya sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself? I have no idea. Let's go to your room and watch the video. Sleeping Beauty, for example. You like that cartoon, don't you? Why does the Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have the scary bird? That question took me by surprise. Alright, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What studied me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon? But darkness was clinging to the window, and it couldn't be fooled by my grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with the feast of lard and long ashen hair. Tony, you coming? Yes, yes, just a moment. Really? Jeez. Was it just your dream, boy? Hey guys, just a quick reminder from my side. Actually, I was just editing this video and I see that it is almost an hour long in length. So for your convenience, I'm just gonna split this video in two parts. So by now you have already watched the first part and just wait for the second part, it is coming really soon. And yeah, like the video if you liked it, smash that like button, subscribe for more awesome content. Be sure to check out part 2 of that video. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.